Baik, Pak. Panjenengan, Pak Guru.
Alhamdulillah. Baik. Ini kelas apa namanya? LPDP.
Kami bergabung, Pak,
Oh,
antara kelas reguler dengan teman-teman dari LPDP. Akhirnya kebijakan dari Prodi kami digabung menjadi satu, Bapak.
gitu. Boleh. Ini baru semua ya, saya enggak kenal, enggak ada yang kenal. Nah, sekarang berkenalan. Who is the captain of this class?
The PIC for EFL curriculum is Mas Nur Mas Jihad, Bapak.
Oh,
Yes, it's
yeah.
myself.
Okay. Mas Jihad, the good name. So how many students are there in this class?
In the class, 22, sir.
Or 22. Still I have 19 that are at least 3 to 4 students. So what do you think? Should we have to start right now? Or should we have to wait for a minute?
Maybe we have to wait 4 minutes. Sir.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Now is the participants already 21. Can we start right now?
Of course, sir.
Yes, Bapak.
Yeah. Okay, Pak Ciat, is it okay, yeah, to start? Okay, let me start with the course outline. Fine. Share with the Okay. Well, this is the course outline that we are going to go with this semester. The title is the EFL curriculum development. We can say the way we have to analyze and also part of the development of EFL curriculum. Because the context, our country is second foreign language, so I think everyone is already recognized well concepts of foreign language. So when we are talking about curriculum, in English curriculum in our country, we are talking curriculum strategies in the end. Well, let me quickly discuss one. This is actually the EFL curriculum is it's not quite relatively new for you. Yeah? I believe that everyone is already understanding or perhaps the information in year S1 level. So after completion of this course, expected to this acknowledge again of relation, study of curriculum and textbooks. So there are two big areas in our curriculums. Process can be studied from the identification of needs and the development of the project of the curriculum, and then implementations and also evaluation and so on. And when we are talking about the products of curriculum, usually interpreted in textbooks. So you are supposed to be able to identify curriculum approaches and developments, and also able to analyze English curriculum practices. Well, by considering this, then this subject is not only to equip you with the refreshment of the curriculum itself, but also how identify the strengths and also weaknesses of the all practices, English curriculum practices in all, perhaps in the junior young levels, or perhaps YL, or perhaps in elementary ones, or junior or senior high level. So even in higher education. Well, this EFL curriculum is for both refreshment and development of curriculum review and textbooks review. Therefore, as students are able to broaden knowledge of the introduction and the English curriculum development in general, as such, you are also to be able to analyze the relevant English curriculum at high school level or at college. Well, the resources, the main book, curriculum development in language teaching, this very famous book, old book, but it's still relevant. A reference. Next is from about approaches to syllabus design for language teaching, and also some websites like Good. When we are talking about curriculum in general concepts, then we also read this curriculum theory and practice from Kelly, and also some other books that is useful for you. Let me show you the book like this one. Oh, so can you see this about the books from Jack Richards? Oh, let me say that. Switch off. Wait a minute. Oh, ini nggak bisa dilihat ini. Check recharge curriculum development in language teaching. Yeah, this is the first book. And the second one is Kaleidoscope of Model and Strategies for Teaching English to Speakers of Other Language. This is a good book, I think, for you, yeah, to add the understanding of the general concepts in the approaches, historical underpinning, and then also some of the important approaches in language, academic and professional areas. Yeah. And the next is, this is also another recommended book. Approaches to syllabus design, and also the curriculum theory and practice. This one is also good for you, yeah. Dictionary of Language Teaching and Applied Linguistics. And when you are reading these books, you can check about terms and also words related to the language teaching and applied linguistics, especially if you would like to write some things, language teaching. And
I'm so sorry, Pak Khairul. Sorry to interrupt, Pak.
Yeah.
But on my screen, it is still the previous one, Pak. The course
gitu.
outline. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay, Bapak.
sorry. This one. This one. Okay. Can you see this?
Yes, Bapak.
Yeah.
Let me repeat again. Yeah. This is the main resources, especially the main books that we are going to refer. Yeah. This is old book, but it's still relevant for a reference. Curriculum development in language teaching. Check. And the second one is this one. This is Kaleidoscope and Strategies for Teaching English for Other Language. This is good for you because this is not only refreshing about our concepts historically in language teaching, but also when you are you eager to know about again of the approaches in teaching as part of the curriculum, then you can check in book. Yeah. And next is from approaches to syllabus design. This is also old but still relevant. This is Carl Krenke. Yeah. So many sometimes when we are talking about curriculum, some concepts related to syllabus is also coming up. Yeah. So these are the books that usually cited by many other famous academicians, just like Czech research. Czech research is also cited by the syllabus. And the curriculum theory and practice is just to refresh the common concept, especially the definition of perhaps the average of the curriculum, meaning of the curriculum in of curriculum. And next about this one. This is a good book for you as well. The Dictionary of Language Teaching and Applied Linguistics. Sometime when we heard a particular term, language teaching and applied linguistics, then we would like to see the meaning of the concepts and so on. Just check it in this book. Example, assessment. What's the meaning of assessment? What's the meaning of curriculum coverage? And this is a good reference for you to recognize about the terms in language teaching and applied. And the next book is, Principle of English Learning and Teaching. This is Ms. Brown. I think it's very famous book. Just additional preference for you. Just think about the theoretical or fundamental concepts in English teaching, as also part of a curriculum coverage. And the last is this one. Oh, sorry, this is not books here. This already finished here. Example of the final project. All right, so these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books that I provide for you just to be used as the main reference, especially Jack Richards. I'll share these all books with you after this class. Now, back again to lesson plan. Well, so what we are going to go through this semester with the EFL curriculum then, well, this one. We have 16 meetings and I have already discussed with Bayu. For the first 6 meetings, I'll be with you, the online class, and we are talking about the general concerns about curriculums, conceptuals, or perhaps about the theoretical underlining curriculum and so forth. So we have already divided the discussions of based on the concepts of curriculums in general. And until the 6th meeting, then we have formative assessment. In this formative assessment, we hope that everyone has already proposed a rough draft of a paper presentation. What's the meaning of rough draft? It's just on the topic selection, title selection that you are going to develop further for the final projects, and also some super reviews. So that is the formative assessment. And go on with the final assessment or summative assessment. You have to submit about a scientific paper about proposing an alternative EFL curriculum analysis. And in this final paper, you complete it in, you still have enough time from now on to think of title and methodology of how to develop paper. All right, this is the lesson plan and the topics that we are going to go through during this semester with me and with Bayu, yeah. Okay, and a paper presentation. When you are with me, I'll talk about conceptual information of the EFL until the 6th meeting. But then at the same time, then you have to prepare of the your own project of the final paper project later. So from now on, you have to think it out about what is the area that you are going to come up with the final project of it. Now, so what's the final project that we are going to require? Final project. Okay. Later, you have to be able to write down a complete paper, final project paper, or final paper project. What's the rationales? You have to be able to find out the issues and challenges in the EFL curriculum in Indonesia, the problematic areas of the curriculum. Yeah, it can be from the YL levels or junior high or senior or at university levels. What are the areas that you have to come up with in general, in curriculum concepts, then we have a need analysis, we have formulation of goal and objective, principle of curriculum development, we have a structural, functional notion, the content-based, learner-centered language, and so on. Those are the approaches and principles. And then organizing course content. Yeah, you also have can come up with the textbook analysis or monitoring and evaluation of any particular area or settings of the English language teaching. Yeah. So etc. You can find one area that you think is best suited for you to be analyzed, and then you propose a final as a draft first, and then you continue with the final project. So what is the forms of the final paper? So at least there are 4 parts. The first is, as usual, very common. You have to be able to make a title and an introduction. So I will give you the opportunity to show of variables or area or whatever scope or topics or title, yeah, from the first and fourth meeting. Consult to me about your own project. You are going to go title, so you can consult with me from the first to the fourth meeting. At the end of the course, after I explain about the concept of the curriculum, that time to present of we call it the draft of paper, actually, or perhaps the theme or the topic. So after that, then you have to develop part that in the introduction, we are able to show of the essence of the curriculum that is related specifically to your titles, focus, and curriculum problem based on the previous studies. You have to show on the problematics area, especially on the based on the previous studies related to your topics. For example, if your topic is about the developing of the textbooks of English textbooks in a particular levels, then you have to show what the previous studies weaknesses with textbooks, and you also have to, number 3, show the important reasons of your project. Will be writing with, especially on the answering of the particular problem. So far, many researchers or many academicians could not solve those problems yet. So this is a part of the introduction. So you have to be able to write down this. And I'll give you the time for consultation from the first to the fourth meeting for this. And meeting 5 to 6, you have to continue writing of the paper by completing of the method or designs that you are going to propose for the project. Whether you are going to use the data from the fields, it means that you are going to go personally to the field, to the teachers, to the students, or perhaps use documents at the school, perhaps teaching materials there, and collected all those documents, or perhaps you can use the data from the outstanding research results, periodical data in the school. Sometimes the school already have a good database. Yeah, you can use those data, or scan the resources, just like a report, course, yeah, the schools from this in Dinas, yeah. So which method that you are going to use, yeah, and you continue with exposing of the results from your analysis, from the data that you are collected before, then you have to show the results. Expose the results of your investigations. If your investigation is qualitatively or process or qualitative paradigm, then you have to show the results by showing about description from the result, qualitative paradigm. If you use the quantitative paradigm, you may also expose the finding based on quantitative. And then you also have to discuss direction of your standpoint of view based on the results. Yeah, don't forget that the paper is not only writing of the information, results, and also information from the previous studies. The best paper is also to place of the idea in which you really able to discuss the contributions you make. And the last part is a conclusion of summary. The summary means the way you answer the questions problem in beginning of the introduction, and then you have to summarize in this part, and you have to also to show us about the implication and recommendation, in what ways that this kind of contribution can give to the development of curriculum in EF. All right, this is the final paper, procedure, process, product, yeah, that you have to. Okay, so far any questions? Ada pertanyaan enggak? About the lesson plan, about the outcomes that you have to finish during this EFL class. Again, you have to write a final paper related to EFL curriculums, analysis, especially on these issues. Yeah, it is dynamic. You may also develop beyond these issues. If those issues are still relevant to the question. Okay. Do you think that my explanation is clear? Is it clear enough of the lesson plan and the things that you have to do during this semester? Cukup jelas ya Bapak Ibu?
I think it's clear enough, Pak.
Mm-hmm.
But can we move to the course outline, because I made like one phrase that I want to confirm to you.
Yes. This one. Yes. Which one?
Okay, in the first and the second meeting, we have lecturing and making
Yeah.
summary in group. So
Yeah.
after this class, we will have we will divide this class into the several group. Is it right?
This is optional. Yeah, actually, I did it last 2 years ago, making the students into. Then after I evaluate of the activity, then I prefer to as individual preparation of the project final. So I think after I explain about this concept, I'll give you the time to respond by showing off the individual program rather than only making a group presentation. Yeah, I did it last 2 years ago, that I asked the students to make a group and summary, but then it was not effective after I analyzed it. I changed into, I think that's a good question. Remind me of how to do this, yeah, during the first until 6th meeting, yeah, because many times I ask you to do a summary, but then in fact, the most effective one after I analyze based on the lessons before, I ask everyone to explain of the progress of how to write of the final project. You can initiate it by showing of the school, the team, yeah, the area, the setting, and so on. Okay, to Rahmatika, yeah. Is that clear?
Okay, Bapak. It's
Yeah,
clear enough.
yeah, clear.
Thank you.
Yeah. So again, I prefer to change these activities into very individual project, yeah, to cope with the final project. Okay. Any other response or questions? So after I end the class, at least on the 7th meeting, I need everyone to show about a rough draft of it. What the contents of the rough draft, at least title selection and also some supporting the reviews. At least chapter 1, when we check about the 4 chapter that I proposed the earliest explanation. So that will be continued by Pak Bayu to methodology and also the results and complete paper. But during the composition of the paper, even that is with Pak Bayu's class, you can also contact me of the vision of the book. Yes? Any more questions? So I think it's clear, yeah? So the EFL curriculum of the S2 program is not only understanding of the concepts, yeah? You also have to be able to apply the concepts situations in that you know that situation need the evaluation, and you also propose the solution. So you can, let me give you some examples of the previous paper. Here, senior, sometime. Okay, you may take the examples just like this title, challenges in applying online teaching platform for engineering students at university level. Analyzing these, you share about the this implementation of Cambridge curriculum, international class program as the best practices. It's also a good idea if you can develop like the example. This sudah belum saya buka ya. Okay. I think that is the lesson plan and also the final project that you have to submit my class. And don't forget, when you write the paper you have to check out the your final paper. This one again, let me review again the introduction part. You have to be able to find and select the best title. What I mean is the best, the title that really can solve the problems in the practices, or perhaps the problem is really needed to be solved because problems is really daily problems related to main hurdles in the teaching learning process in the schools and so on. So the area of the paper can be various. and wide and a broad area. You may concern of the planning process, like when we are talking about curriculum, you also talk about lesson plan of the people of the teacher, yeah, in the schools. You can also analyze the lesson plan of this teacher made lesson plan, or you may also can propose of the analysis on analyzing objectives and competencies offered in the lesson plan. You may also analyze on the textbooks used at the schools based on the lesson plan with the competencies, the lesson, and match with the books or provided books, whether teacher made books or published book. Yeah, so you can analyze. And also you can also the analyzing the assessment of the books, assessment of a lesson plan, whether this assessment is effective on based on the planning of the lesson beginning. And also you can compare of the 2 or 3 strategies in the curriculum development. For example, in one case, you see that the curriculum is developed based on the communicative paradigm, communicative approach, and the other area you see the structural approach, for example. Then you compare the analysis. It is very possible for you, yeah. Okay, so again, please select the best title, the best scope, the best area, and then you have to show to me. I'll give you perhaps starting next week, yeah, not right now. I'll give you at least 10 minutes or 15 minutes before I end the class. I give you the opportunity to send of your rough draft, so I can follow of the topics that you are going to write down day by day, meeting by meeting. Yeah. Okay, then you select the best method. Method in this case is the way you answer of the problem you propose in the introduction. If the problem of the introduction you would like to analyze the textbooks, you have to use the discourse analysis method. Yeah. But if you would like to provide the problem by comparing of the scores of the students based on the implementation of the curriculum, then you can provide the quantitative analysis, pairing of the score. Okay. And results, of course, just expose the results of your analysis, which the answer problem that you put, and you discuss, yes, the results, and this not only exposing the results, but also you have to discuss if the result is like this, then what is in your mind, what is your idea of the result. The results have the similarities with the previous finding, in what area they are similar, and what are the differences with one area of the differences. And after that, you will have to also continue with what is the contribution paid. Okay, and you end up with the summary. Okay. Don't forget to put the references. How many references normally of a paper? How many? Paper. Yeah, of course, the more references, the better. Yes, but no, don't put it less than 10. Yeah, more than 10, if you would like. Your paper is very comprehensive. and highly concise, and the content is representing media in the time. Okay, so the best reference is journal, yeah, articles, not the books. The book is, yeah, only okay, just 70% of the total references you may use, but the rest you have to maximize of articles, the current article, especially the last 5 years articles, and internationally, national community, of course, don't take the national level. Usually the coverage of the limit. And that's it, the final paper. I think it's really clear here. Well, if it is clear, then I continue with the first topic. Pertama.
Bapak, I would like to ask about references.
Yes.
You said that the best references will be from the journal, but can we use the books? And if we are allowed to use the books, so what year will be allowed? Can we use the old one like what you showed us?
You may use the old books as long as it's still relevant. So it's very flexible, especially of sometimes old books are still relevant as a good as the main resources, just like Douglas Brown book, Jeremy Harmer. Those are old books, I think. Topics are still relevant until now. So it's very flexible. If you use the books, yeah, already, yeah.
Okay, Bapak, thank you.
Yeah, you are welcome. Any other response? All you one by one first. Yes. Bu Rohmatika tadi mana Bu Rohmatika?
Yes, Bapak.
Oke. Pak Dino Sugiarto. Ya, Pak Dino benar.
Iya, Bapak, benar sekali, Bapak.
Oh, ini Pak Dino. Kumis ya, mantap. Pak Dino, ya, dan Bu Nurmas. Oh, ini yang Pak Ketua. Pak Ketua, mana wajahnya ini Pak Ketua?
Siap, siap Bapak.
Wah, ini di mana nih lokasinya kok? Di pulau-pulau gitu.
Itu backgroundnya di Raja Ampat, Bapak.
Oh, ini posisi di sana?
Saya asalnya dari Sorong dan saat ini sudah stay di Malang, Bapak.
Oh, sudah di Malang. Masih di Raja Ampat.
Ya, izin Bapak menyampaikan ada sedikit perubahan yang dimana jadwal yang harusnya malam ini di relate di hari Kamis, Bapak, Kamis malam dengan jam yang sama.
Oh gitu.
Ya,
Insya Allah ya. Nanti saya diingatkan ya.
Oh.
Ya ya. Oke. Pak lihat ya ini. Pak Andi. Pak Andi Anugrah.
Present, Sir.
Wah, ini. Di mana posisi ini Pak Andi? Di Malang juga?
Di Malang, Pak.
Sehat ya Pak ya? Kok kelihatannya rambutnya saja?
Habis mandi, Pak.
Habis mandi. Ya. Oke, Pak Bangkit. Di mana wajah Bangkit ini? Wah, ini. Ini pemain voli Pak ya?
Oh, bukan.
Namanya kayak pemain voli. Pak Bangkit. Pak Andi Anugrah. Ini saya absen biar saya kenal ya. Pak Andi Anugrah.
Present, Sir.
Loh,
Ya, Pak.
Sudah kan tadi?
Sudah tadi.
Oh. Kiru manggil. Pak Bayu Brojomukti.
Present, Bapak.
Wah, ini namanya luar biasa. Saya teringat siapa itu? Raja Mukti. Artis itu loh. Jangan-jangan ini saudaranya. Tinggal di mana, Pak?
Di Malang, Bapak.
Oh, Malang ya.
Di-
Bayu Brojomu. Thank you, Pak Bayu.
Terima kasih,
Pak
Bapak.
Daniar, ya Pak Daniar.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Oke, oke. Wah, ini seger sekali nih Pak Daniar. Habis umroh ya?
Bukan, sir. Belum. Insya Allah, semoga secepatnya.
Itu sudah gundul itu habis umroh kali. Terima kasih Pak. Thank you. Budia Ayu.
Present, sir.
Oke. Budia Ayu. Di mana posisi Bu? Ayu di Malang?
Posisi sekarang sudah stay di Malang.
Oke, oke. Ya, thank you. Baik. Bu Eli Zamzam.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Oke. Bu Eli Zamzam. Nah, ini ngajar di mana Bu ini?
Senior High School of Muhammadiyah Lumajang.
Wih, ya far. Lumajang, I think is yeah, from Gresik is far, but from Malang I think it's good. Oke, Bu Eli, Pak Irfan Zulkarnain.
Yes, sir, saya di sini.
Ya, sip. Seger juga ini. Semangat nih Pak ya. Pak Irfan, dari mana Pak?
Oh, saya dari Magetan asalnya.
Oh, Magetan. Ya. Sip. Nggak ada gempa ya Pak ya? Magetan.
Nggak ada, Pak. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you Pak. Pak apa tadi? Pak Irfan, ya. Bu Halimatus Sa'dia.
Ya, Bapak. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam.
wabarakatuh.
Okay, Bu Halimatus, where's your position right now?
Currently, I'm in Bojonegoro, sir.
Oh, Bojonegoro. Wah,
Yes.
Pak Yoto dulu itu ya, bupatinya itu. Oke, thank you, Bu.
Terima kasih.
Next is apa ya yang belum tak panggil ya? Bu Irvi. Bu Irvi Triani. Ini mati ya videonya Bu Irvi.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir, because
Oh,
actually
yeah.
I have a problem with my connection here.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Problem. Sometimes the connection is down.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then Bu Nur Aini tadi sudah ya?
Belum.
Oh, belum ya.
Ya.
Ini sudah pada kenalan kan? Sudah kenal semua ya?
Sebetulnya sih belum. Not really because we just joined 2 days ago with this class. Yeah, actually we are the second semester, 2022, but in the second semester. And then our Kaprodi put us in LPDP class, but we cannot join the class because they have to attend the class every day, and we have to go to the work. So that's why we ask Mr. Estu to move us into other class, that this class, and we just joined 2 days ago.
Oh,
so,
I see.
Yeah, I just know several of them by the video, just like that.
Okay, so selamat bergabung.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Nur Aini. Okay, next is Bu Nur Maya. Halo, Bu Nur Maya. Ya. Oh, gambar burung Bu. Oh, ini. Lagi gelap ya. Oke. Nggak kelihatan.
Cari sinyal soalnya.
Oke, ya semangat Bu. Ya, mencari sinyal berarti semangat ya. Terima kasih Bu Maya. Oke, Bu Rodia sudah ya tadi. Pak Sandi.
Yes, sir.
Oke, nah, cerah juga ini. Semangat baru. Pak Sandi. Are you in Malang as well, Pak?
Yes, I already stay in Malang.
Oh, okay, good. Alright, thank you Pak Sandi.
Thank
Bu
you, sir.
Silviana, ya Bu Silviana Komaria.
Present, sir.
Halo, Bu Silvi.
Yes, present, sir.
Okay. What is your position right now?
Now I'm in Probolinggo.
Oh, ya. Oke ya Bu ya. Sehat. Thank you Bu Silviana. Siapa yang belum ya? Bu Siti Alfa.
Present,
Halo.
sir.
Okay. Are you a teacher, Bu Siti Alfa?
Actually, I'm fresh
Okay.
graduate.
Okay, fresh graduate. S1 from S1 ya. Alright. Okay. Thank you, Bu Siti
Thank
Alfa.
you, sir.
Next is Pak Syarif Hidayatullah.
Present, sir.
Ya.
Yeah. Thank you very
Gimana?
much.
Welcome.
I actually from Pasuruan.
Okay.
The exact location in Tretes, sir.
Wih, Tretes ya.
Yes.
Good then.
Okay.
Good luck, Pak.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much.
Ya, Pak Syarif Hidayatullah. Next is Pak Tia. Pak Tia Karuni.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Ibu ya. Sorry. Your name is very unique ya, Tia Karuni. What is the meaning of it?
What, sir? Sorry.
Can you share of the meaning of your name? Because I never heard about this kind of name ya, Tia Karuni.
Actually, I don't know, sir. Just know karunia artinya karunia and
Karunia.
Vesraspati means Kamis.
Okay, it's good name. Yeah. Thank you, Bu Tia.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, the last one is Putri Umi Wardah. Hello. All right, Putri. Are you okay?
Okay.
Ya, thank you, Bu. Terima kasih. Posisi juga di Malang kah?
Ada di Malang.
Oke, mayoritas Malang ya ini. Oh, thank you, Bu Tri Umi. Saya kira saya sudah memanggil semua, mudah-mudahan saya hafal namanya ya. Hafal, mohon dimaafkan ya. Nyebut salah. Thank you. Now let's go on with the first PowerPoint presentation. Oh ya, ini saya harus tawarkan ini. Mau saya kasih materi sekarang atau bagaimana ini?
Up to you, sir.
Hah? Okay, this is the first materials. Okay, as the introduction of the EFL curriculum, now we are going to talk about concepts of the curriculum in general, and we have to also to know about the origins of language curriculum development. This is the historical overview. I take it from Jack Richards. What's the curriculum, or the history of the curriculum development, and also what's the difference between curriculum and then syllabus, and what's the first reason why syllabus come up at that time, and why it was converted to the curriculum, especially in the EFL. Now, so the Jack Richards covered about what procedures can be used to determine of content of language program. Because curriculum usually presentations of the contents of the language program. So you have to be able to know about the procedures, so how to put it those content of language programs and what other learners need. Yeah, as I told you that the beginning process of developing curriculums always started by understandings of the needs of the students. So we have to able to find out as the initial process developing of the EFL curriculum by understanding of the student needs. So in these concepts, then we also have to learn a lot of Noonan ideas or Hutchinson ideas about how to identify the needs of the students. And next is about how can learners need be determined. It means that the methodology of the identification of the students. Yeah. So many steps and strategies in identifying students as part of the initial development of curriculums. And after that, then we have to collect all the results of the analysis, and then we have to be able to develop into the next steps of development curriculum by showing of the object. So what's the objective of teaching them after we identify clearly of the needs of the students? And what factors are involved in planning the syllabus? When we are inserting of the objective, that we have to also thinking of the planning, the way the syllabus of factors that involve in the syllabus plan. What's the definition of the syllabus? What's the average of the syllabus compared to the curriculum? Now, when we talk about the history of the curriculum, we are also talking about of the syllabus. The definition of the syllabus, of course, a description of the contents of the course, or instructions, and needs what will be taught and tested. So, curriculum and syllabus is the two unspirited terms, complementary terms. Do you know what was the distinction between syllabus and curriculum? Anyone knows of the distinctions, curriculum and syllabus? Which one is a broader and which one is more specific? Anyone knows? Yes.
I think curriculum is wider and broader than the syllabus, because syllabus is just like the guideline for us as a teacher. What should we do? What should we teach? And then what kind of tasks that we have to design to our student. So that's why I can say that curriculum is wider or broader than the syllabus.
Okay, good answer. Thank you, Bu Nur Aini.
You're welcome.
Yeah, your answer is correct. So curriculum is broader. Yeah. The aspects of the curriculums are various. Yeah. Syllabus is just only part of the curriculum. Therefore, it is called the list. Yeah. List what will be taught and tested. This kind of syllabus, just like example syllabus for speaking course, or what kind of the contents of the list that we are going to teach the students and we are going to test the students, especially in the matter of the topics listed here and so on. So that is a syllabus. So curriculum development is more comprehensive process than syllabus design. Yeah, in curriculum, we have object. You know, we have a profile of the students going to teach. Then we also have to know about the objectives. In the objective, we also have to insert the competencies of the student. And we have to also broke down of the competencies of the student into the content areas that we are going to teach to the students. The topics, the themes, the coverage of the materials, and also the assessment. So we call it curriculum development. It's more comprehensive. Process that are used to determine the need of a group of learners. Yeah, why it is comprehensive? Because at the beginning, we are going to design the curriculum that should with the needs of groups of the learners. We have to be able to identify. To develop aims and objectives or objective for our program to address those needs. After identification of need, then we have to put the objective. To determine and approach syllabus, course structure, teaching method. When we are designing the teaching process, then we also have to think of the syllabus approach. Some are about structural dimension, notional dimension, communicative dimension, and sometimes projective dimension. Those are the kinds of appropriate syllabus that sometimes some experts develop. And an evaluation of the language. Yes, of course, curriculum development is more comprehensive because these are the contents. Curriculum. Well, 20th century changes in approach. Curriculum history represent about the changes in approach of teaching in the EFL. The teaching method, like this one, theory of language and language learning, grammar, translation method, direct method, structural method, reading method, audiolingual method, situational method, communicative approach. These are the 20th century changes in approaches in the teaching. Do you still remember about the reason why the teaching of English, or when did the teaching of English come up in the Indonesian context? Anyone can help me about the historical of the review? When did actually teaching English develop firstly in Indonesia? Ada yang tahu? Before World War or after World War? Anyone read the books from Douglas Brown? Have you ever read of Douglas Brown? Or perhaps Jeremy Hartman? Or Hutchinson T. and Walters' concepts of the development of English language teaching? Yang pernah baca buku-buku yang saya sebut tadi? Atau sudah lupa karena terlalu lama? Kapan bahasa Inggris mulai berkembang dan dipikirkan oleh di Indonesia? Sejak kapan? When did the English language teaching started to develop? So that is related to the curriculum concepts. Ada yang bisa bantu? Yes. Wah ini?
I just know that in our country there are several times of curriculum changing. The first is in 1947, but I don't know whether that they have already included English inside of their curriculum or not. I just know that we have already changed several times in the curriculum, and then the first time I know it's was in 1947.
Okay, I think it's almost correct. Yeah, 1947 is before the World War II or after the World War II?
47 is after.
Yeah, after. That's right. So that is correct. So the teaching of English developed well in Indonesia is after the World War II. You know, when did the World War I happen?
It's in before 1945.
Yes. Right.
Before the
19...
Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right?
Yes, yes. That is the peak of the World War II bombing of Nagasaki. Apa?
Nagasaki, Hiroshima and
Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That is the peak of the
World
process of
War
World War II. So after that, you know, the Western countries, Europeans and American, developed the technology. Is not war again. Developing the apparatus, many kinds of equipments is not for the purpose of war, but for technology of helping the civilization people all over the world. After that World War II, then all people, especially the Asian country, including Indonesia, would like the transfer of the advancement of technology. That is the first reason why English then learned a lot by many people of Asian countries, including Indonesia. That is when we check it in the Hutchinson T. and Waters book. Yeah. Why and what's the history of coming the English language in Asia after the World War II. You know, the concept of teaching after the World War II in 1950s, in 1960s, you still remember about the grammar translation method. You know, what is the meaning of grammar translation?
We translate our own language into English.
Yes, that's right. Direct method, structural method. This is the beginning approach is used by the expert teaching English. Reading method, audiolingual method. You know what is the meaning audiolingual method? Ini refreshing aja ya, ini refreshing secara bahasa Inggris. What is audiolingual method? You know the concepts of habit formation in the psychology? This is influenced very much by concepts of habit formation in psychology. Concepts. Anda masih ingat itu audiolingual method dipengaruhi oleh model pembelajaran di psychology. We call it habit formation. So what's the point in audiolingual method? Apa isinya di situ?
The audiolingual method is like, for example, we order our student to repeat and repeat it again about the material in the class.
Yeah, so what is the point in audiolingual method? Learning English is a drilling. Yeah.
Drilling.
Drilling. Many times repeat and repeat. So the concept of drilling at that time, in 1950s to 60s, this is very famous, learning English by making a drill, asking the students to drill some words. Yeah, this is audiolingual method. And situational method to develop and improve from drilling to situational method based on the purpose. So, and learning English should be related to the context of learning and also communicative approach. So when we are teaching English, then we have to know that the use of language is not only drilling and memorization and so forth, but that is for communication, for communicative approach or for communication. So we recognize at this stage communicative competence. Well, this is the story. Now, teaching method. Specification for the process of instruction and language teaching question of how, what need to be taught and the contents of instruction. So this is teaching method. Specification for the process of instruction, language teaching, of perhaps questions of how, what need to be taught and the content instruction. We call it. Okay. Now, principle of language teaching methodology. These are the principles historically what's introduced by the expert English. Initial preparation, habit forming, drilling, accuracy, gradation, proportion, concreteness, interest, order of progression, multiple line of. You can find this kind of principle in Douglas Brown books. You can refresh again of the understanding. Principle of language teaching. Now, time is limited. Selection is important. Teacher need to choose the appropriate units. Because we are teaching then, when we are teaching, the time is limited. So we need a selection. Teacher need to choose the appropriate units of a language for teaching purpose. It should be useful for. So our task is to select which one is useful for the learner. So we have to be able to select the best material, the best teaching methods, and selection of the units that closely to the usefulness of. This is the job of the teacher, why we have to learn a curriculum. Now, vocabulary selection. What words should be taught? This is also a crucial problem. Not all vocabulary are useful for the learner. So, depend on the objective of the course and the amount of time available for teaching. How many words should students set out to learn? Native learners or foreign? So many questions that we have to answer. Selection of the vocabulary. All right. Vocabulary selection. Again, we have to see words of high frequency should be taught first. What kind of material should be analyzed? Children's book, Time magazine, and word frequency are important in the planning word list for language teaching. Depend on the types of language, the samples, relevant to the needs of the target learner, frequent in a wide range of samples. Yeah, in terms of vocabulary selection, then we have to do the usefulness. Not all vocabulary items are useful for the student. So the best teachers are the one who can select which are the useful vocabularies. All right. So criteria are used for determining word. So when we are selecting the vocabulary, have to check whether you can teach teachability, whether those are teachable. Similarity, availability, coverage, or defining forward. Defining forward means whether when we learn those limited vocabulary can be used for learning other vocabulary. Okay, this is the introduction so far. Nah, ini belum sampai slide berikutnya ya. Sampai di sini dulu saya kira perkenalan ya teman-teman. Dan continue next meeting. Ini sampai jam berapa Pak Ketua?
Sebenarnya untuk jadwalnya dari jam 7 hingga jam
jam 7 ya.
Iya, jam 7. Jam 7 hingga
kan jam 8.30 ya.
Around 2 hours.
Oh gitu. Oke. Tapi saya kok ngantuk ini. Sudah mahal.
Pak, kami juga ngantuk.
Iya. Itu
Kami
bukan
juga
pertama kok
nyari
ngantuk.
yang soalnya, sir.
Sudah hampir 2 jam setengah, Pak.
Oke. Ya sudah, kita sudahi dulu ya. Kita lanjut. Next meeting.
1 jam setengah.
Okay, Pak Jihad. So just remind me, next meeting is on Thursday. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thanks
Thursday afternoon.
Okay,
What
sir.
time? What time, Pak?
Mbak Ninis, can you help me? Or Mas Dino?
Next Thursday, next week, yeah?
Yes, sir. Next week.
Okay. After Maghrib, is that?
After Isya saja.
After Isya, okay.
Yes.
So after 7, yeah? Or at least at 7 o'clock. Well, thank you, Pak Jihad, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I remind you again, starting next week, you can consult with me of the draft that you are going to write. Yeah, you can consult of the topic. You can also share of the area of variables that you are going to use, whatever. I'll give you 15 minutes before I end the class to share. Yes, you can maximize of the time sharing. Okay, I think enough. After this, I'll share the materials, the PPT, the books, and also the lesson plan to you. Ya, di mana ini saya share di mana nanti?
Di grup saja, Pak.
Di grup ya. Cukup ya di grup nanti ya. Okay, thank you. Okay, by the way, I think enough for today. See you next meeting ya.
Okay, sir.
Thank you for your coming on.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bapak. Thank you so much.
Ya, good night. Ya, assalamualaikum.